Venu Rajamoni, do you go along with what the Vice President of the country says? There could be sinister designs in a way to block India's rise to power, or is this pure paranoia that the government of India in a way is playing on using the Vice President?
I'm shocked and surprised at the language used by the Honorable Vice President, and it is indeed unfortunate that he has waded into a larger controversy which has been happening in the country. I think we are now in a time, as was said by many speakers, that India is one of the shining stars on the international firmament. At a time when India is being toasted and India is being celebrated, to suddenly turn around and see sinister designs aimed at stopping India's growth story, in my view, is completely ridiculous. Rather, if we are strong, if we are rising, if our economy is doing extremely well, we've become the 5th largest economy in the world, we should be confident. Why should we be afraid of one BBC documentary? What is there to fear of a foreign hand? If there are others who have tools, we also have the same tools. And there is nothing that we cannot deal with. So India must act as a mature democracy. That is where India's strength lies.
Okay.
And in our interaction, I just heard the previous speaker say international relations is a zero-sum game. I entirely disagree with him. If it is a zero-sum game, why are we hosting a G20 summit in India? There is international relations. Ultimately, the main fundamental challenges of the world can be only addressed through cooperation. And only a few days back, you saw President Biden, the French president, all in conversation with the Prime Minister on various aspects. Once again, they were celebrating India purchasing these aircraft for Air India, which was done by the Tatas. So the leaders of the world are actually working with India and celebrating India's success. So where is the foreign hand? I don't see a foreign hand behind the BBC documentary.
Okay, Rajat Sethi, you quick response. I mean, you've got actually, this should be India's big moment. And this is the moment we should be showing our soft power as a democracy, projecting democratic values. Why this paranoia? Why this obsession that there could be someone out there undermining the India story without providing proof? Hindenburg is a research organization. How come Gautam Adani becomes identified with India? He is a businessman like any other businessman.
Rajdeep ji, you are an old Latvian's hand. You know how things work. You have a lot of connections in the intelligence bureau also. Just have a cup of tea or a coffee with them. Sit down with them. Look at finer details. Hindu Business Line carried a very fine article around Hindenburg and what happened a couple of months prior to Hindenburg in that run-up. They talked about put and call ratios. I can get into the economics of it and how put ratios skyrocketed 2 months before this whole fiasco. Everything is timed. It was done right around the budget time. The BBC documentary was right around the parliament session time. Everything is timing, Rajdeep ji. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And who's behind it? We are not naive. And who do you think, Rajat Sethi, who do you think is behind it?
These are, one has to look into, our intelligence people, our military intelligence, our other intelligence officials, they all constantly look into all aspects of intelligence. This is where, our former bureaucrat friend here, with deep respect, I would want to say, had these people not been, too much busy with wining and dining, had worked about creating India's influence in a lot of these New York Times and BBCs of the world, we wouldn't be sitting in this situation. Quite respectfully, sir. Okay. Very, very respectfully. Secondly, let me tell you, we have seen how there is this article in Spectator. You should look how Huawei, as a Chinese company, used to finance BBC's worldwide operations.